Have you ever felt such intense jealousy that it led you to think or act in ways you shouldn't? Jealousy can be a poison that corrodes the heart, causing someone to lose control and even destroy their own life. Many people don't realize that jealousy can grow gradually, hiding behind the success of others until it finally poisons the heart and mind. This is what happened to Cain, the eldest son of Adam and Eve. It is a tragic story of how jealousy can lead to destruction, and conversely, how sincerity can bring someone closer to God. This story is not just about two brothers, but about two different attitudes of the heart. One chooses hatred while the other chooses sincerity. This story remains relevant today. How many people allow jealousy to ruin their relationships with family, friends, or even God? How many choose to hold on to anger and forget God's goodness? Today we will dive deeper into this story to draw valuable lessons from it. In the new land, after being expelled from the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve had to start over. They worked hard to survive, planting food and raising their children. From their union, two sons were born, Cain and Abel. Cain, as the eldest, was responsible for farming. He worked tirelessly, tilling the soil, planting seeds, watering crops, and waiting for the harvest. He often faced challenges: hard soil, unpredictable weather, and pests threatening his crops. Every day, he woke up early to tend his fields and returned only when the sun was about to set. Cain felt that all his hard work deserved recognition. Meanwhile, Abel had a different role. He became a shepherd, caring for his flock with love. He understood his animals' behavior, knowing when they were hungry, thirsty, or sick. He often spoke to his sheep, calling them by name, and patiently led them to the best pastures. Abel enjoyed his work, and in every step, he felt God's presence. Both had their own responsibilities, but what made a significant difference in their lives was the state of their hearts before God. Cain worked hard, but his heart was filled with a sense of entitlement. Abel worked with joy, seeing his labor as a blessing from God. At one point, Cain and Abel decided to offer something to God. This was not just a routine, but an expression of gratitude for all that God had given them. Cain brought the fruits and vegetables from his harvest, crops he had worked hard to grow. However, in his heart, there was another feeling. He believed that his offering should be accepted simply because of his hard work. He did not choose the best produce, but merely a portion of his harvest, just to fulfill an obligation. Abel, on the other hand, brought the firstborn of his flock, the best and healthiest ones. He offered them with a sincere heart, understanding that everything he had came from God. For Abel, giving to God was not a burden, but an honor. He did not think about what he would receive in return because he knew that God had already provided for him. God sees the heart of every person. It was not the offering itself that mattered most, but the attitude behind it. God accepted Abel's offering with joy, but rejected Cain's. Not because God was biased, but because Cain gave with the wrong heart, a heart filled with pride and pretense. Cain's anger burned within him. He felt rejected, humiliated, and belittled. In his mind, Abel was not a better person than him. Why did God accept Abel's offering but reject his? Hadn't he also worked hard? Didn't he also deserve God's recognition? God gently warned him, saying, "Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it." But Cain ignored the warning. He allowed his mind to be consumed by jealousy and rage. He began to plot something terrible. Abel never suspected that his own brother, who had grown up with him, was planning evil against him. One day, Cain invited Abel to the field. Nothing seemed unusual. Abel innocently followed his brother, unaware of the danger lurking. In a secluded place where no one could see, Cain attacked his brother mercilessly. With his own hands, he ended the life of the one he should have protected. That act not only destroyed Abel, but also ruined Cain's own life. Abel's blood cried out to God, and God saw everything. God asked him, "Where is Abel, your brother?" With a heart devoid of remorse, Cain replied, "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?" God knew everything. He saw Cain's wickedness and punished him. "The ground that has received your brother's blood now cries out to me. You are cursed from the land. You will no longer yield crops from the soil, and you will become a restless wanderer on the earth." Cain was terrified. He felt his punishment was too great, but he had made a terrible decision, and every decision carries consequences. He left God's presence, becoming a wanderer with no purpose or peace. The story of Cain and Abel is not just an ancient tale, but a warning for all of us. Jealousy can destroy us. When we see others being more blessed, do we become angry and let hatred control us? Or do we choose to learn from them and improve ourselves? Choose wisely, for every decision determines our future. Do not be like Cain, be like Abel.